Hello friends, and welcome to See Joy Yoga online studio and wellness channel. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about IT band, outer hips, and then of course we're going to connect that up into the kind of mid-low back. This was a request by a member of our community, Lisa. So hello Lisa, I hope this works out for you. Talk to me, tell me if you need something else or a little more or a different area, etc. We're going to start lying on our backs, one of my favorite places to start. And you know, so many people are working from home right now. I'm hoping this is something that's accessible to be on the ground. The exercises that I'm going to show you, you don't necessarily have to do them all in a row. You can, but I'm going to show you a few different of my favorite exercises to get into that area. So we're just going to kind of go right into it. With your feet as wide as your mat, tee your arms out. Take an inhale with an exhale, let the legs move over to the right. And inhale up. So this is windshield wiper. We know this. We're going to add on to it in just a little bit. Yep. Pardon me. So you're just kind of toggling between sides, but still using that nice slow breath, matching the movement, which means a nice slow movement. And just starting to say hi to the pelvis region, to the low back. You might even be feeling front of thighs. Awesome sauce. Now, the next time that you go to the right, you don't have to be on my timing, by the way, you might come over to the right and then swing that left knee up and in, right? And then you're going to bring it back wide on the left edge of the mat, over to the left, swing that up towards the right chest, and there you go. Now there's your new pattern. Now, if this feels like too much for your back, for anything, I'm going to ask that you go back to windshield wiper and just work from that place. Or if it's just the movement, you could just stay on one side and hold. We will do that in just a moment, just so you know. Your head could be turning the opposite way, but I wouldn't worry too much about the head and the neck right now because we're working in the lower body, and that's the purpose, yeah? And then the next time you go over to the right, you're going to pause. So you're going to hug that left knee up towards the chest, the right side of the chest. You can simply stay here, putting your, that would be your right hand on your left knee. And some of us, we might be able to grab the foot. Now you could use a strap, but it's not about having the straightest leg. You'll still get the benefit, I promise. You're going to start to push that heel away. Notice I don't push down towards the bottom side of the mat. I'm pushing out on a diagonal, and I end up with kind of the letter V between my torso and my leg, yeah? And then from there, if I were up above looking down, I want you to think about, you could even put your left hand in your left hip crease, or I would do it if I was there with you, and I would pull that crease down towards the right corner of your mat, and I would try to lengthen you through your left side body, your left outer hip, and you might feel a little IT band, you might not here, right? But hopefully feeling something in that outer line that we're talking about. You can leave the left arm teed out, or you may or may not get more benefit, just depends on the day for me, by reaching the left arm over. Don't roll over to the right with it. Keep the left shoulder, the left upper ribs down, but then lengthen out, and that might add to that little extension in that left side for you somewhere. I'm going to stay teed out today. That feels better in my body personally. And then go ahead and bend that knee and bring that on back. And we're going to go back and forth with the swinging action a few times before we land on the left. Just notice if your left outer hip, IT band, low back feel any differently, are running energy differently than your right side of your body. The next time you go over to the left, we're on. Stay over there, hug that right knee in, maybe putting that left hand outside. You might just stay right here. You might grab that left foot with a strap or your hand and start to push that right heel away. Again, it's not the straightening of the leg here that's the most important. It's this piece right here. That right hand can come if you're like, what is she talking about? Use your hand and do what I would do. I would put my hand in your right hip crease. I would pull your right hip down and towards the left corner of the mat, the foot side, right? And I would try to lengthen you through that right side body. Yeah? And then you get to kind of regulate where that feels great. If you're all in the hamstrings with a straight leg, I would say if the hamstrings aren't what we're focusing on, bend that right knee a little bit and see if you can find more length with the right hip moving forward. Maybe the right arm reaching over. Again, I'm going to keep my ribs and my right shoulder heavy, and I'm going to try to lengthen out of the side waist without activating the upper right trap. Take one more breath wherever you are. Bending that knee, bringing that back up to center, and let's hug those knees in. So hopefully we're starting to feel a little electricity, right, in the outsides of the body, in the hip, pelvis, outer thigh, side body region. Could I say that any slower? Okay, so from there you're going to grab the backs of the knees and rock up. You could go through the fetal position and push up. Totally awesome. And you're going to come on through, and let's do a couple of hands, knees, cat, cows, just as a something to throw in between, so we're not just IT band, IT band, IT band. Inhale, reach the chest forward, and exhale and round. And you're going to do that a few times if that's feeling nice in your body. And just notice where you feel your tightness. So Miss Lisa, you were talking, but via emails, we were talking about how your mid-low back. So let your main focus for this one, and anyone else who is also in that realm, let it be the movement of the pelvis. What do I mean by that? If I let my frontal hip points lead by moving down, I might feel it a little lower in my body. If I pull my frontal hip points up and let that be what rounds my spine, I still go into cat-cow, but my pelvis is my initiator, and it might just play with the muscles in that region a little bit more for you. And if that doesn't make sense, do cat-cow. Okay, now come to center. The next one goes like this. You're going to walk your left shin to the center of the mat, the knee, the foot, the shin, the whole kit and caboodle. You're going to cross your right knee behind your left and just set it down wherever it goes. You're going to separate your feet out a little wider, and I forgot to warn you ahead of time, you might want something behind. Your buttocks are going to move back, and they might want to sit on something. This might be plenty, right? You might start to sit back and down. Right here, you could put a block underneath there and support it, right? The objective is not to get the buttocks to the ground. The objective is when we find our edge, whatever it is, and I'll show buttocks on the ground in a second, we're going to lengthen our spine, and then we might forward fold a little bit, and hopefully that left outer buttocks is talking to you. If you're on the ground, it's the same thing. The buttocks come down, we sink the left buttocks down, and we lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. This might be plenty, and then we soften wherever that edge is. Take a breath into that outer left glute mainly, but I feel it going down my outer left thigh to a little more back by the hamstrings today. Not always, but today. So investigate, explore what's happening in your body. Come on up. Uncross, recross. Your right shin will go in front, left leg behind. Spread the feet a little bit. Start to sit back and either prop yourself up and bring the floor up to your buttocks, or your buttocks might make it down to the floor. Don't force that to happen. No reason to do that to the joints, right? Wherever it is you're from, block or no block, wherever you're from, get long and find that length, and then fold forward with the length, and hopefully that right buttocks starts to talk to you. If this isn't your knee, I should have given options, sorry. A, don't go so far down. You might be feeling it right here, yeah? You might put that block under. You could also just do Sukhasana. But my knee joint friends, that's going to be a hard one all the way around any of those, right? Some of my sensitive knee friends can do this one, going in this way. They usually just don't go all the way back and down. Come on up, uncross, and let's go into downward dog. Hands a little in front of you. Curl the toes under and go ahead and straighten those legs, push those heels down. And of course the legs never have to straighten. Let's go ahead and bend one knee and straighten the other, however much that is, and then switch that out. And just page through a couple of times, saying hello to the backs of the legs. It's not our focus today, but it's all connected. And then at some point in time, bending both knees, lengthening the spine, pushing the heels down. And get really, really long. Find that spine is as long as it could be in all of its bits and pieces. Take a breath from there. And then you're going to walk your hands back to your feet. Hands on blocks if you cannot reach the floor here. We're going to go right into another IT band situation. Again, you don't have to do all these together. I find it effective to go into one spot a number of times, but these are exercises I would recommend that help that area find some space. And you can just put little bits and pieces in throughout your day, right? So walk your left foot to the center of your mat, cross your right ankle in front of the left, and mirror image your toes. The right heel starts to move down. It may never make it to the earth, right? I find the mirror imaging of the toes to be more effective than trying to get the heel all the way down and having the foot forward. But play with it in your body, of course. Push down through the inner edge of both feet, and that might be plenty for you. You can reach the chest forward. Maybe you fold in a little more, but as always, invite the buttocks bones up as the heels root down. Now, to get the side body activated in this stretch, keep your left hip where it is. It's going to want to go forward when you do this. Walk over to the right, blocks or no blocks, whatever. And if you keep that left hip put, and you kind of lengthen and pull out of the left side, be careful that's not your shoulder doing that work, and breathe. Come on back to the center, uncross. Walk the right foot to center, cross the left ankle in front, mirror image the toes, and start to drop the left heel down any amount. Maybe you're hanging out right there. Maybe you're reaching the chest forward. And exhale as the buttocks bones lift up. The body slowly moves down. And again, heels rooting down, buttocks bones up. Take a breath from there. Don't worry about that side stretch. I'll get you there, I promise. And then maybe you keep your right hip exactly where it is and you wander over to the left a little bit, right? And hopefully maybe we feel that right side waist start to lengthen. And coming back through center, uncross the legs. You can move the blocks off to the side now. Reach the chest forward. Exhale, fold. And hands on hips, elbows up. Reach that chest forward and come on up. Come on up to the top of the mat. Let's do one half salutation and just one down to the belly, one A modified, of course, because that's what I do. Inhale, reach those arms out and up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, the chest forward. Bend your knees, plant your hands, step your right foot back, step your left foot back, top of a push-up. I'm going to bring my knees down today because it's not about that today. Come on down through your push-up. Inhale, low cobra, maybe upward dog. We have not done a lot of back bending. And exhale down. We'll do one more of those just for good measure. Inhale up into low cobra, or you could be doing upward dog. If you don't know it, I'm not going to teach it today. And then we're going to come on up through our knees. So knees stay down, and inhale, come on up, and you'll make your way into downward facing dog. Sweep that left leg up into the air behind you, neutral hip. Step that foot forward between the hands and bring the right heel down, yeah? Now reach the right arm forward and windmill up to warrior two and get yourself kind of situated. I have to pull my pants up, they're so out of elastic these days. And then from there, inhale, reach those arms out, soften the shoulders down. And we're gonna go into reverse warrior and side angle because I think they're the most effective at that side body of the standing poses. Bring that left hand down and really bend that right knee in. That was Tuesday's work, right, for my Zoom friends. Reach the arm up. Keep that hip heavy, and lengthen out of that left side waist. And I am not mirroring, by the way, so I might not look exactly the same as you right now. And then you're going to lengthen out until that left arm comes down to the leg. Reach that right arm all the way over. Push the right heel down as you reach the right fingertips away. Cautious of the right upper trap. It loves to do the work here. And if you really find those two things moving in opposite directions, maybe we can start to lengthen out that right side waist. Take one more breath. And we're going to change it slightly, right? So now reach your arm up, and you're going to swing it back, and then turn the ribs down as you swing the right arm forward, right? And then as you push that right back outer heel down and reach away from it, maybe you feel a little more in the front side of the abdomen, but still by the side body. You might step the right foot in slightly and turn the heel towards what is now the back of your mat and reach away. And now we've got a little calf going on potentially, but also it might bring it a little more into the side waist. You're going to go ahead and you're going to move your foot to the 45-degree, reach the arm up and come all the way up. And exhale all the way down. Step back, and we'll do that same thing on the other side. So inhale your right leg up into the air behind you and float it forward between the hands. I'm just going to switch so I'm still facing camera for you. And from there, left heel down, left arm windmills, and you'll end up in warrior two. Reverse warrior. So left hand, left thigh, reach the right arm up. And again, I'm not mirroring, so I might not look identical to you. Keep that right hip heavy and lengthen out. Means you have to do more brain work. Pull out, lengthen out of that right side waist, right? But don't let it be the shoulder. And it's not that the further you C-curve, the more you get. It's these two pieces moving away from each other. Lengthen, 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 bringing right arm down. That left arm is going to reach all the way over, and then our concentration again is opposition. As the left outer heel, that very back corner pushes down, and you reach away, do we start to activate that left side waist? Anywhere else? Check in. And we're going to move to that second piece of this pose, which is to swing the arm around, turn the ribs down, and then reach the arm forward towards the right foot side of the mat again. And again, if you keep that 45 degree, it's possibly a little bit more in what I always think of as kind of the top side of the psoas in that abdomen area, or abdominal area more accurately. Now maybe you switch that foot and you turn the foot out more so it's more at a 90 degree and the ribs roll down a little more when that left hip moves forward, and then you lengthen out of that. Half jackknife, I could call it almost, right? And then we're going to come up into warrior two. And bringing the hands down, you'll step back into downward facing dog. And breathe. And bring those knees down. Take a child's pose. And we're going to go active with it right off the bat since I have a little amount of time. We're not taking quite as many pauses today, right? So I push my hands down so that my forearms float up, and then I'm going to walk over to the right, lengthening that left arm forward away. And now hopefully, yeah, we're side body, but now notice maybe it's a little bit more on the back side of the back side body. And, hopefully that mid to low back is, getting the effects of all of this. Coming through center, walking over to the left, lengthening your right arm forward and away as the right hip sinks down. And both arms can move forward, hands, shoulder distance, all the usual suspects, right? But really focus on the right line. Come back through center, inhale, reach the chest forward to come on up. Bring the knees together, and we're going to come on down onto our backs and lay in stillness for just a little bit. So you're going to use a little core on the way down, right? And then once you get to the earth, you can find that beautiful arm and shoulder blade position where you're nice and open in the heart, the lungs, the collarbone area, right? That whole area. And then we're going to do one more thing before we go to stillness. Walk your feet as wide as the mat, but it's not windshield wiper this time. This time, keep your hips down on the ground as much as you can and let your right knee drop down and in just a little bit, moving towards internal rotation. I think sometimes the reason that these get so tight, the outer thigh, hip area, is because most of us are prone to external rotation, and so we work a lot with our legs separated out, and these get locked short, and they work more than the inner edge of the leg a lot of times. So we're just stretching through some subtle stuff here. Bring that up and let your left knee kind of drop into the center line, but again, try to keep the left hip fairly grounded. There will be some movement there, but we're not lifting it up and moving into a twist, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then hopefully, if you just let the weight hang, we start to get some nice subtle stretching in some of the fascia and the muscles on that left outer hip thigh area. Come on up with that leg. Maybe the knees just lean in for here. If you would rather extend the legs out, you can. But, it's not wrong. I am not saying it's wrong. Please, nobody take it that way. When we extend our legs out, our legs naturally go into external rotation. This is wonderful, right, in the fact that it's super, super soft in the hips and what have you. But if we're trying to lengthen through that outer hip line, this feet on the ground, knees moving in position, might just help that a little bit. That's all I'm saying, and it might not. Feel it out. Do whichever leg position feels good. Everything I say is always a suggestion, and you are your best guru, your best doctor, your best teacher, all of it. Listen. And we'll take about 3 more breaths in stillness. It's not going to be the longest Shavasana, but just a few moments of stillness in the body. And of course, you could stay here. You are probably, you know, in an environment where you could hang out here for a little while longer. But if you're on a time commitment, you're going to walk your feet in, let the legs, knees bent if they were extended, by the way, roll over to the fetal position. If the eyes can be closed, but turn the head down so the neck stays out of it as you move away. And then as you come to seated, even here, I want you to notice that's the legs in external rotation. And it's not bad. However, it tends to put the body in that kind of pelvis rounding behind you. These can start to get a little grippy, right? So you may choose to sit up on height. And if you bring the hips up, there's a different freedom that starts to happen around the pelvis, right? You might choose to kneel, keeping the legs in a more neutral rotation. Close the eyes. Breathe. And let's bring our hands together at our heart. Inhale. Exhale, bowing the head in. And just taking a moment of gratitude for our beautiful, beautiful IT bands, our outer hips, our low mid back, right? All of those pieces that we tried to touch and give some freedom to. Namaste. And again, Miss Lisa, feel free to let me know how it goes and we can always adjust. Feel free, all of my friends, to just use bits and pieces of it if the whole sequence is a little too much to put them all together for you. May you all be well.